The final piece of this project is the camper itself. Now you can see up here, right here is where the pin goes. Now I took the pin out already, and it's over here on the cart. Here it is. You can see how waddled out that hole is. It's supposed to be a 1/2 inch hole. Pin goes in it, and it's not a 1/2 inch anymore. These are going to get repaired, but the real reason what we're doing, because the camper sat down on the flatbed, they put this extra material here to make up for the difference in the flatbed. So this, let me go show you the truck. Originally, side was wider than the camper itself. The camper sat down on the flatbed. Well, now it's going to sit on the side. And because the camper sat on the flatbed originally, they added that extra material, the thickness of this, to here. They added it down this side, all the way down this side, and across the front. Now it's still going to sit on the flatbed across the front. We didn't shorten the camper lengthwise, just widthwise. So I don't have to take any of that material off. Just a couple strips down the side on each side, and then the back originally sat on this, and it's still going to sit on it, and it's even. The back of the camper is even with the back of the truck itself. So really all I have to do is take off a couple of the extra material spacers on each side. In the middle there's no extra spacer because there's the door there for the storage that goes underneath the flatbed. Just got to grind off the welds now, and it's pretty much like factory flat. So just got to do it up here in the back and then on the other side, and we'll be done. This is the result of our work yesterday, grinding these pieces off. You can see they never welded this box channel to this piece over here. There's a seam there, so I'm going to have to go back over that. You would have thought they would have welded this first and then put that plate over it just to double strengthen it, but they didn't. This corner over here, there's no weld in it at all, so I'm going to go over that to reinforce it, just to strengthen up the corners of that plate, because that's where the pin is mounted. You see it right there. All right, here's one of the corner pins. You can see this is the original hole. It's all waddled out. I'll grab the pin off that corner over there to show how this works. This is, dropping. This is a hook to the bottom of the camper originally, and then once the camper is lowered on the bed, you put this pin in and it goes in the hole, and that's what locks the camper to the bed. Well, see, a little bit, to me that's just a little bit too much slop in there. I mean, there's only 4 of these, one on each corner. Holds the whole camper to the bed of the truck. So I'm gonna make this a little bit better, a little bit tighter, I think. Of course, this is how it was hooked. This bolt went inside this cup like that, came out the top, and it's just loose in there. Of course, I don't know if you can see down in there, but there's no room to get a wrench in there. And the way they had to do it is they trimmed the top of the bolt off, because the bolt being inside there the original bolt would interfere with where the pin goes through. It would have been thicker. So they ground the bolt down and stuck it in there. Now that we've just lowered the camper even more, this setup, there's no way it's going to work. But secondly, I don't like this, the way this is even designed. So what we're going to do is cut this top off, weld this hole shut, put it in the lathe, make this perfectly round again. Then I got this is 5/8 11 threaded rod coming from McMaster Carr. Mill another piece of stainless steel, weld the stud into the stainless steel, cut the plug down so it's just a little bit bigger than the inside diameter of this, and then completely weld this all the way around so the stud is permanently attached to the pin. That way, when you go to install this in the camper, you can tighten it up and you can hold on to the pin to get it perfectly tight. You don't have to try to figure out how to hold this bolt still, and then drill a new hole through this. That's the exact diameter of the pin that hooks it on. Let's see if I can tack this little plug in there without welding it to my socket. Just got the socket in there to help hold it up. Oh man, my clamp was loose. That ain't good. Where'd you get a Phillips screwdriver? Thank you, ma'am.
What happened?
The clamp screws loose.
Oh.
I wasn't paying attention. You got loose there. That'll do it. I got that one, I think. You see, it might be a little low on that side, but this is no high, skilled machining here. All I'm going to do is put this in the lathe and take off the high spots, so this will slide in and out of the camper bed. So I'm going to have to work around you here. Can't tighten it too tight. All right, that's going to be good enough, I think. Just enough to take the high spot out of that weld right there, so it'll slip down in that hole of the bed. You can see it's not perfectly round. Well, either after welding it or before it was made. I don't know, maybe it was distorted when they had it. But it doesn't need that close of a tolerance, so just as long as that high spot where that weld is gone. Just trying to find the rough center of this. That's just a heavy 3/4, yeah, kind of heavy 3/4 each side. No, this one's way off. Oh boy, 7/8 on one side. Well, no, I guess it's not way off. It's about 7/8 on both sides. Okay, so I'm gonna mark the center of all 4 of these, and then take them over to the Bridgeport and drill them almost identical to the diameter of the threaded stud. And then we're gonna put them up in the jig, put them up through there, and weld this milled off point that I put through. That way I get a full penetration weld all the way around it and into the plate. Got these cleaned off. You can see I just turned these down. I just welded a nut to the bottom of this plate to keep it flat. The threaded rod is going to make sure it's completely perpendicular to this plate. And the only way I could do that, well, to make sure I could do it, I just can't hold it still. So I'm putting another bolt on the bottom here to tighten it up so it doesn't move around much. So I have just the edge of those threads at the bottom of that plate. That way I can completely weld it all the way through the full thickness of this plate and get enough weld on that threaded stud. So I'm just going to tack it on there. Maybe I should tack it in 4 spots so it doesn't move. Did I weld it right to the plate? Find it on there. Wow. Looks like I welded it right to the friggin' jig. Oh man. Wow. Okay. That's pretty wild. I guess the tacks that I put on there were a little bit too aggressive, huh? Yeah, I guess I just got a little carried away there with the penetration on those, which I guess is good, but not for the jig. All right, well, I guess I'll have to kind of lighten up a little bit on the next one. Let's try it. See if I did better on that one. Yay. All right, so let's finish up the other ones. Already got all these welded. Look pretty good. Looks like penetrated all the way through to the bottom. So, and I built up a little on the top too to kind of make a head of that stud, give it some extra strength. So now all I got to do is take it over to the lathe, put these nuts on this shaft here like this, jam it on here, then chuck it in the lathe I'm going to turn it down till it's just below the outside diameter of this here. And then I'm just going to put a small shoulder in it to fit inside here, so when I center it up, it won't move around when I go to weld it on. Let's see how this cuts. One side's still flat there, the other side's round. So this is why I'm spinning it on the threaded rod, because there's no way or very little chance that I would get this round just spinning it like that. You know, just trying to weld it in the middle and cut that round hole. Hopefully I have enough left over. Let me get my micrometer and measure it. 0.7 on that, so I should have more than enough. Let's get this is 1.5 outside diameter, 128 inside diameter, so. Okay, it's a circle finally. Okay, so now that we got it to a circle, so it's 153, and I said the outside was 150 of the tube, inside 27, almost 128. So I want to get this down to below the diameter of the outside, but of course not to go past the inside diameter, because I want to set it on top with that shoulder, and that way I can get a good full weld through this outside edge. For one. See if that fits. Just not a tall enough shoulder yet. Let's get a little bit deeper. Okay, that's perfect. There's just a lip on there on the inside, and then you got the plate, so that fits inside there just to center it up. So now I'm going to just weld this all the way around. That should do it. So you can see here's where I did the plug repair right there. Cap was welded on, and then I just put it back in the lathe and just turned down. There was a little bit of slag or extra weld on the edge there, or on the surface, so just turned that off. Now I just have to address a couple welds on the actual camper frame itself. I think I showed this before, but I'm not sure. That weld right there, I'm going to finish off. This piece right here, I'm going to clamp that up. It was welded out here. Well, it wasn't. It was cracked, but they tried to weld it out here originally, but I had to cut this off. So I'll clamp this up and finish welding that across there. Again, over here on this side, we'll do this one. This one is what concerns me the most. I don't know if you can see the porosity in that weld, and it looks like there's a crack or a fissure. I'm not sure if that's a crack or just porosity all the way to the top, but it extends all the way to the top around the corner there. So while I'm under here doing this one, I'll finish it all the way up, go over it all the way around the corner there. There's a couple in the back too underneath. And then this one back here, it looks pretty good too. There's a little crack maybe right there, but of course underneath, that's a different story. Got the welds done. Now I think I'm just going to put these pins back in. First I want to see how see they're so close to this wall that they had to cut the washers down just to get them to fit in there. And that washer don't work. Oh no, I guess it does. Just have to turn it till it sets flat in there. I think I'm just going to use the lock nut in there instead of this double nut set. Of course, it'll be harder to tighten up. I don't know if you can hear, it's pretty windy today. Give it a little snuggie. That's it. After doing all this work, let's see if it fits. Okay, that's getting close on this side. Looks like the truck may have to turn a little bit. See right there. No, you can. Truck's got to go forward and maybe to the left. So it's all got to come this way. Okay, that one's in. See if we can push this other one's in. Okay, this side's in. Now the back. Okay, so front is in. Maybe it's got to come up because it's binding. Let's see. This side fell in over here. This one not so much. Let's see. So we are off. So the other side's in. This side's like just a millimeter off. So going to have to adjust that, it looks like. After some fiddling around, I got her on there. I had to jack it up a couple more times and adjust the spacing on the pins. The pins where they go through a hole, the hole's not exactly the same size as the bolt. You know, it's got a little bit of slop in it, so I had to just loosen the pin up and move it just a little bit this way and move the one on the driver's side a little bit the other way to get them to drop in the holes. But now you can see how perfect it is on the sides. Exactly. Let me get the shot down the side there, look. Oh yeah, I like it. So next job, to cut that pin down at that length right there so it can install in that hole, and then drill a hole in the pin that's in there. It's time to drill the holes in the pin that's actually down in the camper itself. You know, that comes from the camper that goes into the flatbed. The biggest issue I have is getting the pin so it's exactly centered in there. The other time they were drilled, they were all kind of sloppy and walled out in there, and I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I went over to the lathe and I just took a piece of scrap of round aluminum, turned it down to 1/2 inch, and made a drill bushing out of it. And that way, the drill bit that I'm going to use to make the first hole, which is, I forget what this is, but it doesn't matter. It's going to go down the drill bushing, and the drill bushing will help keep it centered in the hole and make a nice pilot hole in that pin in there. At least that's the theory. So let's see how it's going to work out. All right, I think I made it through. Let me just let this bit out a little bit farther. Yep, all the way through. All I got to do is go put 3 more pilot holes in the other pins, and then I'm going to go back to the lathe and drill this bigger up to 1/4 inch and do it again. Laura wants to learn some lathe work.
Yeah, I've never done this before.
He's going to drill the chuck or the bushing to 1/4 inch. Yep. That's it. Now stop and back up. Now go forward again. See how the chips are coming out? Okay, now stop and back up. There you go. Now go forward again. So like this. You go in, like stop, and go in, stop, and go in, stop. See how those? As long as those chips are coming out of there, you're good. If they get stuck inside, you got to take the bit all the way out. There you go. You got it now. Okay, what do you think?
Well, we gotta take it out, right?
Well, here, take the, brush those chips off of there. I don't know, did you know if you're all the way through or not?
That's why how do I know? Take it out or what?
No, just run this in there all the way and see if it comes out the other side.
I'll do it again?
No, just leave it
just
off.
manually.
Just run it in there, see if it comes out the other side. That's easiest for you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You see it out there? It comes out the back of the... There it is. Okay, cool. All right. Time to drill. All right, next step, 1/4 inch. There we go. All right, now it should be good enough to drill it to final size. That 1/4 inch bit size should give you a good pilot hole. Let's see. Flashlight? No. Almost though. Boy, that's not cutting worth a darn, is it?
No.
Let's see. Boy, it sure isn't. Maybe this bit's just not sharp enough, huh? Maybe I need to go up to another size. Let's see. Well, that sure didn't do it. Instead of jumping all the way up to the 1/2 inch, we're gonna step it each time. So this is next size drill. See, the problem with this is it was kind of grinding away at that aluminum tube that's in there.
I was worried about that.
Yeah. So. There it goes. All right, that made it through. Let's go finish the other 3 and then we'll make this another size bigger. Pretty much almost down to the thickness of the metal itself. So. There it goes. Just had to get through that last bit. So let me try this one. It's just 2 sizes smaller. See if it'll track in there. There it goes. Okay, so I need to get the 1/2 inch now. Yeah, it sounds like it's cutting now. Instead of just scraping in there. I think I'm gonna have to put a better grind on this. I sharpened it up, so let's see if that helps. I think I need a more powerful drill, huh?
I think so. Here's the test.
Hey man. Let's see. Might need to, it's just almost there.
Right?
Just need to maybe, yeah, it's just there. Oh man, it's just there. Just barely. The 1/2 inch drill bit is exactly the same size as the 1/2 inch. This is 1/2 inch outside diameter, so I could either turn this down just slightly so it fit, or I have a 13 millimeter drill bit, which is 0.5112, which will just give you just a slight bit of clearance in there. So we're gonna give that a shot and see. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect. All right, that's perfect. Sweet.
There you go.
Now the camper won't fall off. All right, this project is officially done. Everything's put back on. And
Well, we took it for a little test run to make sure there weren't any strange noises or anything.
yep, and the fat bed is now a skinny bed.
Yep, it sure is.
All right. Looks really good with the camper on, huh?
Oh yeah, it does.
Camper's the exact width, or I should say the bed's the exact width of the camper base now. I like that so much better. Down that side. Okay.
Good job, hon. You did a good job.